Thanks, Renee.
Awesome. Thank you for coming.
For sure,
Okay.
anytime.
Yeah. So we just wanted to, this interview series has been so awesome to learn about so many different businesses and the way they're evolving to support their clients through this crazy time. And so we want to talk a little bit first about just what is Swell Private Wealth? Like, what do you do and what do you do for your clients? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, for sure. So we're a boutique advisory firm. We deal a lot with either medical and dental professionals, business owners, specifically do a lot of training with accountants and lawyers as well. So we
Mhm.
talk about advanced strategies using insurance to either save taxes now, save it in the future, or transfer wealth to their family or the causes they care about. So,
Okay. Awesome. I love it.
yeah.
So really not your traditional like, hey, do you have $5,000 to put in an RSP, but a lot more like overall planning and
Yeah.
strategy for like where am I today and where am I going to be in 30 years kind of thing.
Yeah, more of an estate planning vision, but not having to wait for the estate. You don't have to wait 30 years to get the benefits.
Yes.
Still holistic in the sense of course, we do the wealth arm, insurance, cash flow planning. Cash flow is really huge for a lot of our professionals right now. They've got
Mm-hmm.
a platform that we use um, have used for years, so they've really been set up to ride this wave, shall we say, because of how we operate.
Yes, that's excellent. So now I know over the years I've talked to you and you've been driving to Saskatoon or driving to Edmonton or driving to Calgary to meet clients. And so I'm wondering, are you still tearing all over meeting your clients or how are you supporting your clients right now?
Yeah, as we grew, we kind of have had exponential growth over the last years, and that was getting really old for my wife. We have three young kids at home, so we, in the last few years, have been trying to adopt other technology and realize when we needed to be there for relationships and when we could
Mhm.
just facilitate business otherwise. So we've been paring that down, and of course, at this point, aren't doing that kind of travel, but it actually hasn't impacted us because we were trying to adopt other methods to maintain our growth without sacrificing our service, right?
Right. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
Zoom calls, is that like, are you using the Zoom platform primarily or?
We were doing some Zoom. Some clients were just easier with FaceTime or Skype.
Mhm.
Skype's kind of old school, but depending on
Yeah.
the client, we'd use all those formats, whatever appealed to them. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And so now I know you've been offering some webinars. I think it's an interesting time for dentists, obviously,
Yeah.
having their practices closed and really navigating these times. So you've been offering some webinars. Are you finding that the dental industry in general are they doing okay? Like where are they
They're
at?
So it's a mixed bag. I've actually got two brother-in-laws that are dentists and one that's a periodontist. Plus, we deal in that market so much that there was a big scare when they closed, not just their
Yeah.
income, but they would have some coverage through their association. And there was a
Mhm.
dispute there for a few weeks that caused a lot of turmoil. So we did some information out to them, and they're still not sure what it's going to look like going forward when offices open up. I think their cash flow is going to be impacted a fair bit, and there's some
Mhm.
nervousness, but there's also some with vision of opportunity there. So it's
Right.
a mixed bag for sure.
Yes, I think in any industry, right? We're seeing people show up and either evolve and adapt to the new normal or kind of hide under a rock. And so some of it is just mindset and mentality, isn't it?
Yeah. So here's one
Yeah.
small example I thought was innovative or responsible is there was a dental office, a larger dental office that we spoke to yesterday, and their administrator
Hmm.
and book, their main number one person was
Yeah.
taking a training course for PPE so that they can properly install and fit their own staffing because they probably have 40 staff. And so
Right.
rather than paying $50 a time for every employee to get fitted, they just have a certified PPE fitter.
That is super innovative, right?
Yeah. So, and then we find that we have a thread of, there's a big swath of people, but there's a thread of our dental clients that are innovators and they're trying to be ahead of the wave and they're
Yes.
doing some really interesting things. And
That's
sometimes they're
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. I love
Mhm.
it. And now, so do you think, let's talk a little bit about life insurance. I'm curious
Mhm.
about this because I know there's still, like, obviously in our mortgage business, we're still, helping our clients purchase homes, and some of those clients are having children. And so all these major life events are still happening, whether
For
there's a
sure.
pandemic or not. And so the need for, adapting life insurance and that kind of thing is real, right?
Oh yeah.
And so are they still underwriting life policies? Like, are they still coming out to your house and pricking your finger and doing all that stuff?
Good question. So the industry at large has been, some of the bigger insurance companies have been on smaller amounts, not been requiring medical tests, pee in a cup, take a needle, because it wasn't a good experience for anyone. And so they
Okay.
started using some more artificial intelligence and some what they call accelerated underwriting, where
Okay.
they would look at your profession, look at your income, look at all these different metrics, and then make an assessment based on that. So we've been using that personally for years for a lot of our clients, but
Mhm.
with the larger amounts, you couldn't use that system. But the big insurance carriers have essentially stopped or eliminated nurses, paramedical nurses coming to your home. They will use executive medicals, or if you've been to your doctor in the last year and done a physical, they'll use some of that information. So by no means has anything stopped. Maybe for some more complex or larger cases, it's a little more work, but they've also
Mhm.
increased the limits. You can get up to $2 million of life insurance with no medical, no blood, simply a phone call. And, if
Wow.
you go through the system, like we did one a week ago, and it was, I think, about 2.5 days, and the guy was approved. Very
Wow.
simple
For $2
situation.
million.
His was, I think, 1 million. His was 1.5 million, but yeah. But you can go up to 2 million.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Without a medical.
without a medical. Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
2 million for life insurance. You can get up to 250,000 for a critical illness and 6,000 for disability insurance. So yeah,
Wow.
we
So
actually, for our business, because we are so niched in that insurance element and how it supports the estate plans, we found a big surge the first few weeks. We were having a hard time keeping up because our professional clients suddenly had time to handle and deal with these items that were on the
interesting.
chopping block, right?
Yes.
And so we had a surge from that. Plus, I think people are just nervous, so then they call us out of preparation. So
Yes.
yeah, we're just starting to settle to a reasonable level, but it's been fun.
Yeah, that's interesting. We saw some of that in the mortgage world too, like the people that
Oh,
wanted to refinance or work on their yard. I had clients that
yeah.
were, wanting to refinance $60,000 for a major yard overhaul. And it's like, well, we're home, so we may as well work in the yard, right?
I'm trying not to go home, because if I go home, then I'm going to have to landscape. We just built a house recently, so I don't want to be doing any landscaping. No, I'll stay at work. Thank you.
That's funny. So the one other question that just came to mind as you were talking about the life insurance stuff, and that's saying that they would look at your income and whatnot. So how are they treating somebody that's taken an income hit, or been temporarily laid off, or those sorts of things? Like, have the insurers come out with any policies or
Yeah.
statements on
There,
how they're managing that?
at this point, there's not a lot of there's not a big fear of getting that insurance. I mean, obviously, if you're, for example, a dentist and you're going to purchase an extremely large policy for whatever reason, and suddenly you have
Mhm.
no income, that might affect it to a degree. But they also know your professions, what should be made in them. If you're a business owner, they
Yeah.
know you're impacted, but they're still going to cover you for a lot of things without a lot of worry, like your debt load. You have a young family. Uh, you have a
Okay.
partnership, you need buy-sell agreements. So income's a factor. It's usually a multiple that they'll go up to 20 times your income without a lot of questions. You can go higher
Okay.
than that, but a lot of people sometimes don't get 20 times their income of insurance anyway.
Right, right. Yes.
And
Okay, so
currently
that's
up to 20 million, like, or I mean, up to 2 million. if you made 200,000 a year, we can't get your full max right now anyway.
Right.
Right.
Right. So now I know you've been hosting some webinars with some information, and I think you've rolled those out on your social media, right? If anyone's interested. Okay.
Yeah, we've got LinkedIn. You can either go to our Swell page or myself personally. I think I put them on there. So
we put
Swell
that
Private
below,
Wealth.
you guys. The Swell Wealth, for Instagram, and then Steve Meldrum on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, and same with Facebook. So you should be able to find us there if you just peruse a little bit.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, we've got a couple of new hot seat questions for you, Steve.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so we want to know, what kind of pants are you wearing?
What kind of pants?
Oh, he's got jeans on. We were worried. We didn't know if it was going to be sweats.
No, I'm wearing skinny pants. They're like dressy skinny pants. That is a hard question, though. That wasn't really out.
What was the last movie you guys watched for family movie night?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say my wife and I, because we just watched that Ford versus Ferrari. That was awesome.
Oh yes, we actually watched that during COVID too. It was good.
Yeah, and I would have said that's a decent family movie, PG. But my kids, it was something I fell asleep in. Something with, I can't remember. I fell asleep in. That's the truth.
So you're homeschooling 3 children, correct?
Oh, my wife is, and luckily she's a teacher by profession. So.
Wow. Okay, so I can send my 3 then.
Yeah. No, she will not take exchanges, but she will give them away at this point. So.
We also do want to ask everybody, what was the latest app that you downloaded on your phone?
The latest app was an industry-related one called Amplify. I don't think it's really public. It's more of a private one for posting to social media and having content.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. And what is the latest setup in the Meldrum garage?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if people know that, but for a couple of weeks, you'll probably see it on our social media too. But we had a blow-up pool that we put in our garage and filled it up because we have hot water taps. But we actually put up badminton net. That was at the same time.
Nice.
Right now, we're working on the garden in the backyard, actually putting in dirt and wood chips and all that kind of stuff. So trying to get the kids working. Yeah.
Nice. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Steve. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if anyone wants to connect with Steve, please do. Thanks. Very informative. I appreciate it.
Anytime. You guys are doing great work.
Okay. Have a great day. Thank you.
Okay. Cheers.